Okay, so let's unpack this. We are heading to a place that has been redefining itself in real time on the global stage.
Yeah, it really has.
We are diving deep into El Salvador, a country of just staggering natural beauty, the land of volcanoes, famous for its world-class surf.
And now, of course, globally famous for this profound economic experiment, adopting Bitcoin as legal tender.
That's the core of it, isn't it?
That's the paradox right there. For decades, El Salvador was defined in the international imagination by, well, a very difficult past. And that history created a huge hurdle for anyone even considering travel there.
Right.
So our goal in this deep dive isn't just to talk about the beaches and the coffee, but to give you, the listener, a really thorough, balanced, and nuanced view of what traveling there is actually like right now in this moment of intense transformation.
And we really need to answer the ultimate practical question. Given the logistics, the massive safety changes, the economic variables, is this the moment to pack your bags and go?
Exactly.
We're going to cover the essential stops on any modern itinerary. The high peaks of the Santa Ana volcano, the beach hubs like El Tunco and El Zonte,
The colonial calm of Suchitoto.
and the logistical challenges of the capital, San Salvador.
Exactly. And let's not wait to address the elephant in the room. I mean, any discussion of El Salvador has to start with its historic reputation for safety.
You have to.
It was a completely valid, decade-long barrier to tourism. Our deep dive is going to address how fundamentally that has changed and what the trade-offs are for you as a traveler. We'll show you a country that's characterized by these stunning landscapes, immense value for your money, and a warmth from its people that, often gets lost in the headlines.
So this deep dive is really custom tailored for the adventure spirit, for the surfer who demands world-class waves, the budget explorer whose dollar needs to stretch.
Way, way far.
And crucially, anyone fascinated by just observing a country navigate this rapid and profound national change. It's a unique, a volatile, and a hopeful moment in time to visit.
It really is.
So let's go directly to the most compelling reason why travel to El Salvador is even on the map for so many people now. The dramatic shift in security.
Right.
This transformation is driven by this intense, very non-traditional crackdown on the powerful transnational gang structures that plagued the country for decades.
The statistics are just staggering. I mean, we are talking about a country that had one of the world's highest homicide rates dropping down to, depending on the month, levels that are comparable to developed nations.
Unbelievable.
But the change isn't just statistical, it's sociological. The primary driver of the massive optimism we see on the ground is the reduction of one thing: extortion.
That's the key nugget right there, isn't it?
It is.
For years, ordinary Salvadorans, from small business owners to bus drivers, they lived under this constant threat of extortion and violence.
Every single day.
So when that threat is removed, the sense of newfound freedom and stability is just immense. People can open businesses, they can walk in areas that were previously forbidden, and plan futures without that omnipresent fear.
And that's why the pride is so palpable.
Exactly.
However, this change does present a kind of a complex picture for the tourist. In the popular zones, the Ruta de las Flores, the coast, the high-end capital neighborhoods, you feel profoundly safe.
You do.
But the safety is enforced by a very heavy, very visible and ubiquitous presence of police and military personnel.
That's the paradox I want to unpack. When we were there, that constant visibility of uniformed officers carrying serious gear, it was everywhere.
Everywhere.
And for some travelers, especially those of us used to, say, U.S. or European policing models, that constant security presence can actually feel a little unsettling.
It shouldn't be jarring.
Even if you intellectually know it's there for protection. Did you ever find yourself feeling, observed rather than just protected?
That's a legitimate observation. There's a certain a tension in the air that comes with profound change enacted by intense governmental control.
Right.
While we personally never felt targeted or in danger, the sheer scale of the operation, you might see armored personnel carriers near a beach hostel, for instance,
Which we did.
is a constant visual reminder of the state of exception the country has been operating under. This is the trade-off. Immense security gains, but they're implemented through methods that have drawn international scrutiny regarding human rights and due process.
And as impartial observers, we have to report that reality alongside the fantastic improvements in day-to-day safety.
You have to hold those two truths together. The palpable feeling of optimism and the pride from locals is genuine. They feel like they have their country back.
Mm.
But that achievement sits on top of a very strict, very intense security policy. For you, the traveler, the result is that if you exercise standard, cautious street smarts, you will likely feel safer than you would in many major urban centers worldwide.
And that national slogan, "The country with a smile," it really does embody the defining emotion.
It does. That optimism means people are genuinely excited to engage with you. We found locals were just so eager to share, to recommend, to welcome visitors,
Yeah.
viewing tourism as a kind of validation of their country's recovery and success.
This spirit of transition is why El Salvador is such a unique place to visit right now. You just sense this collective, forward-looking energy. They're celebrating the present, not dwelling on the past.
And this human energy contrasts so beautifully with the physical landscape.
Oh, absolutely.
Visually and culturally, you see these striking juxtapositions everywhere. You have these immense, powerful, volatile volcanoes
Ancient symbols of power.
juxtaposed with delicate, beautiful flowers and the calm of Cote Peak Lake. And culturally, you have generations-old traditions like the colonial architecture of Suchitoto existing alongside this hyper-modern, tech-forward push of the world's first national Bitcoin economy.
It's that tension, isn't it?
It's the tension between the ancient, the traditional, and the futuristic that really defines the contemporary Salvadoran experience.
Okay, so let's ground this in logistics. You've decided to go. How do you actually get there and navigate this transforming country?
Your entry point is Monsignor Oscar Arnulfo Romero International Airport, code SAL, and it's situated about 45 minutes south of San Salvador.
And the flight connections are surprisingly efficient. It was a 3-hour hop from Houston for us, a direct, seamless flight.
Right.
Compared to traveling to some other Central American destinations, SL felt modern, and the immigration and customs process was quick and orderly.
Very smooth.
It really makes the country feel accessible, not, remote.
Once you land, your mode of transport fundamentally dictates the pace and the freedom of your itinerary. And we identified 3 primary ways to move around, each offering a totally different experience.
Okay.
Option 1 is ride sharing, primarily Uber. It is reliable, it is safe, and it is unbelievably cheap in the major cities, San Salvador and Santa Tecla.
The cost is just wild. A ride that might cost you $30 in a U.S. city could be $7 or $8 here.
It's amazing.
But here's the critical travel friction point. Uber service falls off a cliff the moment you leave the metropolitan hubs.
It disappears.
Trying to hail an Uber from a coastal town like El Tunco late at night, forget it. You might wait an hour, or the car will cancel halfway.
Yeah, you become reliant on prearranged local taxis or the chicken bus, which is why option 2 is pretty essential for any kind of comprehensive exploration.
Which is?
Option 2, the rental car. We are both firm believers that for seeing the country, hiking the volcanoes, driving the Ruta de las Flores, visiting colonial towns, renting a car provides the necessary flexibility.
It really does. But the infrastructure is a mixed bag, though often better than expected. The main highways, like the coastal CA2 or the Pan American Highway, they're often multi-lane and impeccably paved.
They are.
But the driving culture, it requires a massive mindset adjustment. We called it assertive, but that's being kind.
Assertive means high speed, minimal following distance, and treating the horn not as an expression of road rage.
Right, not like here.
But as an essential communication tool. You will hear horns constantly. It means, I am passing you, I am approaching a blind corner, or get out of the way. It's an audible warning system, not an insult.
And you have to pay close attention to the shoulders. The right shoulder often functions as a dedicated passing lane or just an extra lane entirely.
That was the wildest part for me. If you are going slower than the assertively driven vehicle behind you, they absolutely expect you to move onto the dirt or paved shoulder to let them zip past.
It's counterintuitive to everything we learn about driving defensively back home. You feel like you're doing something wrong.
But you're doing it right for there. Another specific logistical point for drivers, tolls. They're frequent but cheap, usually less than $1, so keep small U.S. denominations ready.
Good tip.
Also, you will encounter military or police checkpoints, particularly on major arteries or near tourist hubs.
We saw quite a few.
They are usually quick. They may simply wave you through or occasionally ask basic questions about where you are going. Always be polite, slow down, and have your passport and license ready, though we were rarely asked for paperwork.
And while the main highways are great, you have to be prepared for the reality of the secondary roads.
Oh, yeah.
If Waze sends you off the main artery toward a secluded coffee farm or a remote beach, the road quality can instantly disintegrate into rough, potholed gravel or cobblestone.
Instantly. And while a standard sedan can manage it, a high-clearance SUV, a 4x4, isn't strictly needed, will greatly reduce your stress levels if you plan to go off the beaten track into those remote mountainous regions.
Totally worth it. Finally, that critical practical tip. Traffic in San Salvador during rush hour is intense.
That's gridlock.
Plan your arrival and departure times carefully around it, and always, always pay the few dollars for secure, attended parking. These lots are easy to find, and the peace of mind knowing your rental car is secure
Rather than being left on a chaotic side street.
is invaluable.
And then there's option 3.
The legendary chicken bus.
Yeah.
This is pure, unadulterated cultural immersion, but it's not for the faint of heart.
They are so iconic, these old, retired American school buses, refurbished and painted in vibrant, almost chaotic colors, covered in chrome detailing.
Thumping with loud reggaeton or cumbia music.
Oh yeah, they are the circulatory system of the country.
My favorite anecdote was trying to get from Sonsonate to the coast. The bus was so full, I was wedged between 2 grandmothers carrying live chickens and a man trying to sell single portions of bubble gum.
Huh. That sounds about right.
It's loud, it's hot, and you are literally sitting on top of other people's luggage. It was utterly exhausting and completely unforgettable.
The pros are obvious. They are unbelievably cheap. You can cover significant distance, say 2 hours of travel, for $2 or $3.
Incredible value.
And you interact directly with local life, including vendors who hop on and off the moving buses selling everything from water and snacks to medicinal herbs.
The cons, though, are equally obvious.
Yeah,
They are slow, they are uncomfortable, and you have to be extremely vigilant.
for sure.
Our universal safety rule applies doubly here. Keep your bag right in front of you, held tight, and absolutely under no circumstances should you rely on the chicken bus for travel after dark.
No, it is daytime transport only. For a late-night movement between cities, Uber or a prearranged taxi is really the only sensible choice.
Okay, so once you've navigated the roads, let's talk beds. El Salvador caters exceptionally well to budget and mid-range travelers.
It really does, offering incredible value in some truly spectacular settings. Let's start with the Pacific Coast, which is kind of split between the party wave and the crypto wave.
El Tunco is the party wave.
Definitely.
It's the most established, surf town younger crowd, louder music, and it operates firmly on the backpacker circuit. The vibe is boisterous, focused on catching the right-hand breaks during the day and drinking cheap beers at sunset.
And the accommodation here reflects that. You're looking primarily at surf hostels. We saw dorm beds starting at $15 a night, often with decent amenities like a communal pool and direct beach access.
Right. And if you're willing to spend, say, $50 to $70, you can secure a private, clean room, often air-conditioned, with a great view of the famous wave break.
Then you move down the coast a bit to El Zonte, the famous Bitcoin beach.
A completely different feel.
Completely. This area is significantly more chilled out. The focus here is more on community, sustainability, and the crypto experiment itself. It feels less like a party hub and more like a quiet, surf-focused village.
And the accommodation in El Zonte is a little more boutique, a bit more intentional.
Exactly. You'll find beautiful surf lodges and gorgeous mid-range hotels built with volcanic stone and wood, often featuring stunning infinity pools.
Prices are a bit higher than El Tunco.
Yeah, typically ranging from $100 to $200. But this is where you actually experience the novelty. We paid for an espresso and a water using a Lightning Network transaction on the Chivo wallet. It's a real living, breathing experiment.
So cool to actually try it. Now moving inland, you hit the colonial heartland and our favorite cultural stop, Suchitoto, or Suchi.
If you need a break from the heat and the surf energy, this is your retreat. Suchitoto is just enchanting. It's built on these cobblestone streets that require some maneuvering if you're driving, but it's so worth it. The architecture is pristine. Colorful colonial buildings, the central square dominated by the magnificent white Santa Lucia Church.
It's the classic vision of a perfectly preserved Central American town.
And the lodging here is authentic and often sublime. We found that the best places are the family-run Hospedias guest houses, often built around these stunning, lush central courtyards.
Think hammocks, shade, the smell of jasmine.
Yes, a beautiful room, usually including a substantial homemade Salvadoran breakfast, eggs, beans, plantains, runs about $80 a night. It's just pure tranquility.
A place to slow down.
Definitely. Finally, let's talk about the capital, San Salvador. As a traveler, you should really view the capital as a necessary logistics hub, a place to base yourself for a day or two after arrival or before departure, rather than a primary destination.
It's sprawling and diverse. So knowing where to stay is paramount for safety and convenience. You want to focus on the western high-end side of the city.
Right. The best neighborhoods are San Benito and Escalon. Escalon is a bit more established and residential, while San Benito offers a bit more buzz, with modern corporate buildings and the city's best international dining.
These areas feel like any secure, upscale neighborhood in a mid-sized U.S. city. They are heavily secured, clean, and centrally located near museums and good transport links.
Because of the high-end nature of these areas, hotel prices reflect it, sitting comfortably between, say, $120 and $180 per night for a quality stay. It's the safe, practical way to handle your capital city logistics before diving into the more adventurous parts of the country.
All right, let's talk about the fuel for this adventure. Because Salvadoran cuisine is a masterclass in hearty, cheap, and deeply satisfying comfort food.
It is.
And we must, of course, begin our culinary journey with the undisputed queen of the plate.
The pupusa. It deserves its own section in the National Tourism Guide. It is the quintessential Salvadoran food experience, found absolutely everywhere, from roadside stalls called pupuserias to fancy restaurant menus.
Describe the perfection. It's a thick, handmade corn tortilla, often made of corn masa, that is stuffed before it's grilled.
Right, that's key. It's cooked on a comal, a large, flat griddle, until the outside is slightly crispy and charred, and the inside fillings are just gooey and melted.
And the classic fillings are non-negotiable,
You have queso,
which is a fresh, salty cheese that melts beautifully.
frijoles, so refried beans, or chicharrón, which is this rich, savory fried pork paste.
And if you can't decide, you order them revueltas, which is the glorious mix of all three. That hot, soft, cheesy interior just contrasts so beautifully with the slate exterior char.
But the pupusa is incomplete without the trimmings.
It is.
It must be paired with curtido and a very simple tomato salsa. The curtido is a tangy, crunchy, pickled cabbage slaw, often featuring carrots and sometimes a touch of chili for heat.
And that contrast is everything. The perfect pupusa bite is hot, fatty, and savory. The curtido introduces a necessary element of cold, acid, and crunch. You need that sharpness to cut through the richness of the cheese and pork. I have a slightly challenging question, though. The curtido is often quite vinegary and pungent. For a traveler who maybe isn't accustomed to that intense acidity, is there a polite way to ask for less? Or is that just culinary heresy?
That's a great operational question. So while you should definitely try it the authentic way first, if you find the curtido too aggressive, you can simply ask for the pupusas with menos curtido, less curtido, or request the slaw on the side.
Okay.
But know this, Salvadorans believe the balance is sacred. You might get a sympathetic smile, but they'll probably judge you slightly for missing the point.
Huh. I'll risk the judgment for the deep dive. Now, the value here is just unbeatable. Pupusas average between 75 cents and $1 each.
So cheap.
You can easily eat 3 or 4 and be completely stuffed, a ridiculously filling, delicious dinner for under $5.
Moving beyond the queen, there is a whole feast awaiting. My non-pupusa favorite was definitely yuca frita.
Oh, so good.
This is fried cassava root, which has a heartier, earthier flavor than a regular potato. It's dense and satisfying.
And it's always served loaded. They usually take the fried cassava, pile it with a spoonful of curtido, and then top it with savory chunks of deep-fried pork, often marinated first.
It's essentially a fully constructed, savory platter of glorious textures and flavors. Robust is the perfect word for it.
It is.
And if you need something truly warming, especially if you're up in the cooler volcanic highlands, you have to try sopa de gallina India.
Oh, the hen soup?
This is rich, home-style hen soup. It's often served with the hen meat still on the bone, large chunks of vegetables and rice. It is a complete, nourishing meal that feels like a hug.
We can't overlook breakfast either. It's a hearty affair designed to fuel a serious day of surfing or climbing.
It is.
You're looking at scrambled eggs, often mixed with diced tomatoes and onions, served with savory refried beans, thick slices of fresh, simple cheese, queso fresco, and fried plantains, sometimes topped with a dollop of sour cream.
It's consistent, delicious, and available everywhere. And speaking of fuel, let's talk coffee. El Salvador produces exceptional, high-quality Arabica beans, particularly those grown on the volcanic slopes, where the altitude and mineral-rich soil impart a rich, complex flavor profile. You have to make a point of seeking out local, artisanal coffee shops.
Don't just drink it, experience the process. The Ruta de las Flores is famous for its coffee tours. We spent a fascinating afternoon walking through the coffee plantations, learning the specific details of processing the cherry, drying the beans, and the roasting techniques.
It gives you such a profound appreciation for the product, and it culminates in a world-class tasting session.
It really does.
Finally, being right on the Pacific means phenomenal coastal cuisine. Seafood is fresh, plentiful, and affordable. Look for ceviche marinated raw fish or perfectly grilled whole snapper.
We sat at a beachfront restaurant and got a huge, perfectly prepared platter of grilled shrimp and fresh snapper for about $12.
The value is just insane. The food journey alone is reason enough to visit El Salvador.
With our tanks full of pupusas and high-altitude coffee, it's time to move to the incredible trifecta of experiences El Salvador packs into its compact borders. We have to start with the natural high literally of the volcanoes.
The king of them all is the Santa Ana volcano, or Volcan Ilamatepec. It is an absolute must-do activity, and it easily ranks as one of the most stunning natural sights in all of Central America.
The logistics here are crucial for the adventurous traveler, though. You can't just show up and wander up the side.
No, you can't.
It's a moderately challenging hike, about an hour and a half to the top, at a steady pace. But you must go with a local guide as part of a supervised group.
Right. They typically leave at set times, usually between 9 and 11 a.m. from the Cerro Verde National Park entrance. You have to plan your itinerary around those fixed departure times.
The geological context here makes this ascent so worthwhile. Santa Ana is the highest point in El Salvador, sitting at over 700-800 feet.
And while it's currently dormant, its last major eruption was in 2005, which, it reminds you of the raw, immense power that's right there beneath your feet.
But the payoff is instant when you reach the crater rim. You look down into this immense active crater and you see that vibrant, impossibly milky, turquoise blue sulfur lake just bubbling away.
The steam wafts up, carrying a faint, unmistakable scent of sulfur. Standing there, looking down at that alien-colored water, you genuinely feel like you've been transported to another planet.
And on a clear day, the panoramic view is unbeatable.
Oh, it is.
You can see the dark blue mirror of Code Peak Lake, one of the world's most stunning caldera lakes on one side and the vast expanse of the Pacific Ocean on the other.
That physical experience, the effort of the climb, the geothermal steam, the immense view, it really is the highlight of the trip.
Shifting dramatically from the geological highs to the aquatic flows, let's talk about the world-class surf. El Salvador is a globally recognized destination for its Pacific Coast right-hand point breaks.
And this is where El Salvador's geology plays a technical role in the quality of the waves. The coast is defined by these rocky volcanic points that jut out into the ocean, creating long, peeling, extremely consistent right-hand waves.
So spots like El Sunzal and Punta Roca are legendary in the surfing community.
They are. But the beauty is the accessibility. Even if you've never touched a board, this is a fantastic place to learn.
The value we found was incredible. We took a private lesson in El Zonte, 90 minutes, with a dedicated instructor, board included, for about $25.
It's hard to beat that price point anywhere else for such quality instruction.
No way.
And the experience is just physically comfortable. The Pacific waters here are consistently warm. You don't need a wetsuit. You can spend hours in the water in board shorts or a swimsuit.
Which makes the whole experience so much less intimidating for beginners.
It really does.
And even for the non-surfer, the coastal culture is infectious. Spending the late afternoon at a beach bar, sipping a cold cerveza, and watching the talented surfers ride those beautiful long waves as the sun melts into the Pacific.
It's a truly essential Salvadoran experience. It's pure coastal chill.
Totally.
Finally, we move to cultural immersion and history, the change of pace that balances out all that adrenaline.
Right. Suchitoto, as we discussed, is crucial. Spend time exploring the art galleries and the beautifully preserved colonial architecture.
And take advantage of the natural surroundings. From Suchitoto, you can take a quiet boat tour on Lago Suchitlan, which is a large man-made lake that hosts incredible bird life.
It's a peaceful contrast to the sensory overload of the capital or the excitement of the coast.
Another must-do cultural activity is driving the Ruta de las Flores, the route of the flowers, which is especially stunning between October and February when the flowers are in bloom. This road connects picturesque mountain towns like Huayua, Ataco, and Apaneca.
And these towns are known for their coffee production, but more importantly, for their weekend food festivals. the ferias gastronómicas.
You have to do this.
If you are anywhere near the Ruta de las Flores on a Saturday or Sunday, you absolutely have to attend one. They shut down the central streets, and vendors set up stalls selling every regional delicacy imaginable.
Creating this vibrant, delicious taste of rural Salvadoran life.
It's fantastic.
And since we briefly mentioned San Salvador earlier, don't overlook the revitalization efforts in the historic downtown. Beyond the logistics, the city has some beautiful architecture.
You have to make time to visit the magnificent Metropolitan Cathedral and the spectacular dome-shaped El Rosario Church.
The sheer modernist architectural geometry of El Rosario, coupled with the light filtering through the stained glass, is just breathtaking.
And for a touch of culture, the National Museum of Anthropology, MUNA, provides excellent context on El Salvador's pre-Columbian history and its dramatic political past, grounding your whole trip in history.
The beautiful part is that you can transition from scaling a volcano to surfing a point break to wandering colonial streets all in a matter of a few hours.
So we've established that El Salvador provides immense value and diversity, but we must circle back to managing expectations and applying common-sense travel caveats.
Yes, while the dramatic reduction in major violence is real, we have to reiterate that travelers need to maintain alertness regarding petty, opportunistic crime.
It's the same basic rulebook you use in Paris, Rome, or New York, right? Don't flash expensive cameras or phones unnecessarily, especially in crowded urban areas.
Don't carry all your valuables in one bag. Standard caution applies, particularly in markets or crowded bus stations. The country is safe, but it is not immune to opportunism.
And specifically regarding San Salvador, while we encourage a visit to the historic downtown to see El Rosario and the main square, these areas do require extra vigilance.
Do this sightseeing during the day. After dark, we strongly advise avoiding aimless wandering in the central downtown core, relying instead on the secure neighborhoods of Escalon and San Benito for your evening activities and dining.
Now let's dive deeper into the unique, high-profile experiment, Bitcoin. As the world's first country to make it legal tender, the national pride around this is immense.
It is.
However, as a tourist on a finite schedule, you need a reality check on its practical use.
The government's philosophical reasoning for adoption was twofold: financial inclusion for the large unbanked population and reducing the friction and cost of remittances.
Which is money sent home by Salvadorans living abroad, particularly in the U.S., a huge part of their economy.
A massive part. And the primary mechanism for this experiment is the government-backed digital wallet called Chivo. In theory, you can use the Chivo wallet to pay for everything. Everywhere.
In theory.
In practice, as a traveler, that is not how it works smoothly.
Right.
It is a cool novelty to try, especially in the designated zones like El Zonte. You will find vendors who are enthusiastic about using it.
But the friction points are significant. The Lightning Network infrastructure, which is designed to make small transactions instant, can sometimes be slow or simply fail during peak usage.
Furthermore, while major chains or government institutions are mandated to accept it, many small vendors have either not fully adopted the system or they're just reluctant to use it due to the inherent price volatility of the asset.
Of course, they don't want to accept $5 worth of Bitcoin only to have it be $4.50 by the end of the day.
Exactly. So our critical logistical advice is this: treat the Bitcoin acceptance as a unique, fascinating cultural experience to dabble in, pay for one coffee, maybe a surf lesson, but rely almost entirely on the US dollar.
Which is the official currency.
It is. It's accepted everywhere. And relying on cash dollars ensures your transactions are seamless and stress-free. Do not feel compelled to convert your travel budget into crypto. It will likely just complicate your trip.
That's great advice. Finally, a note on infrastructure. While main highways are excellent, the speed of service, from getting your food at a restaurant to checking in at a rural hotel, is often slower than travelers accustomed to highly efficient destinations might expect.
This is fundamentally an operational reality of a developing country. You need to come with flexibility and patience.
Don't plan tight, rapid-fire itineraries.
No. Give yourself buffer time for unexpected traffic, a failed digital transaction, or the glorious slow preparation of your meal. Embrace the slower pace. It's part of the adventure.
So we've climbed the King volcano, navigated the assertive driving culture, mastered the art of the pupusa and the chicken bus, and seen a country actively reinventing itself.
Wow.
We've covered the safety transformation, the logistics, the caveats. Final verdict. Is El Salvador worth the trip right now?
For me, it is a resounding and enthusiastic yes, but with a crucial asterisk. It is a country that offers exceptional value, stunning natural beauty, and this tangible feeling of hope. It feels truly alive and welcoming.
I agree completely. It vastly exceeded my expectations for the sheer breadth of activities available and the genuine friendliness of the people. It's an easy recommendation.
Let's define the ideal traveler for this place. It is absolutely for the adventurous soul looking to move beyond the heavily established routes of Central America, seeking something more raw, more authentic.
And less developed than, say, certain resort towns in Costa Rica or Mexico.
Exactly. It is essential for the serious surfer who demands consistent world-class waves. The right-hand point breaks are a major technical draw. And it remains a dream destination for the budget-conscious traveler. Your money goes incredibly far here, allowing for a rich, expansive trip without the high cost associated with the similar destinations.
And fundamentally, it is for the curious observer, anyone who wants to witness firsthand a country undergoing a profound, high-stakes transformation.
You are seeing history and rapid modernization unfold right in front of you.
Okay, now for the asterisk. Who is it not for?
It is not for the traveler demanding a perfectly polished, all-inclusive, zero-friction resort experience.
Right.
If you require absolute predictability, five-star infrastructure in every corner, and seamless logistics, El Salvador is still developing those components.
You must be prepared for the bumpy roads off the main thoroughfare, the occasional technical hiccup with a payment, and the need for patience.
It is an adventure where you are required to meet the country on its own terms.
It demands flexibility, but it rewards immensely.
And that brings us to our final provocative thought for you to carry forward as you contemplate this trip. The true beauty of El Salvador right now lies in the fundamental juxtaposition we've discussed. Think about the incredible resilience needed to transition from decades of internal struggle to a state of profound optimism. And how does this same country manage to preserve its deep, ancient tradition represented by its colonial towns, its sacred volcanoes, and the timeless perfection of the humble pupusa,
while simultaneously becoming the global pioneer in the world's most hyper-modern, volatile financial technology, Bitcoin.
That's it.
That tension between the deep past and the hyper-future is the defining feature of modern El Salvador, and it is the true reward of visiting this country today.